Hey there, my name is Bree.
And I'm Suze.
We're the hosts of Crime and Spirits, a true crime and cocktail podcast. Do you love spooky stories and all things true crime?
How about themed cocktails? Do you love those too?
Well, that's perfect, because so do we.
Yeah, in fact, we love them so much, we made an entire podcast all about it.
Every week, we bring you a new episode that covers a different case or topic of interest, but first, we'll need drinks.
Don't you worry, we've got you covered there. Every week, we'll teach you how to make a handcrafted cocktail that ties into the theme or topic in some way.
So you can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and pretty much every other platform available.
New episodes roll out every Sunday.
So buckle up
and sip tight.
We can't wait to talk some true crime with you. Bye!
Find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
The following podcast discusses adult situations and gets very sweary. Sensitive ears beware.
You know what? Fuck it. Fuck my whole life.
You're listening to Fuck My Whole Life, brought to you by Fuck My Work Life, a podcast within a podcast where we venture outside of the workplace to bring you stories of mishaps and shenanigans from all aspects of life. Because if we can't laugh at ourselves, what are we even doing? Welcome back, fuckers, to the Fuck My Whole Life podcast. I'm Kay.
I'm Jay.
And no, your ears did not deceive you. I did say, fuck my whole life.
The whole fucking thing.
So this is our new podcast within a podcast where we kind of venture outside of the workplace to share kind of what the fuck stories from all aspects of life.
Yes.
And we are very honored to have our first guest in this new concept. We've been trying to get him on the pod for a long time, but he sent us kind of his one great work story, which you guys should all go listen to in the episode titled Phlebotomy and Unexpected Porn. So we've been trying to figure out a way to get this guy on the show and thought it'd be perfect to have him on for this new concept. We've been on his show a couple times. So we're going to introduce everyone to Dan from Casting Views.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Hello, Dan.
Hiya. Good to be back. Yeah, I was listening to the intro, and yeah, I was thinking all the time. I always keep saying to you, yeah, my work life has never been massively interesting, except that one story, which when you call it unexpected porn, it cracks me up because it certainly was. And not mine, by the way. It wasn't me. I'm digging a hole for myself even more now. So, yeah, can we record that? Yeah, I'm good to be here.
So your life actually works like a real porn, where it's just like plumber knocks on the door, unexpected, just start railing.
I do want to say, though, our numbers for that episode shot up so fast, I think, because porn was in the title. That was like one of our best performing
keyword, right?
Right. So all you podcasters out there, just put porn in the title and your numbers will go up.
Fuck my whole porn life.
Well, now there's a sub-series.
Right. Oh, God.
The ups and downs of a porn actor.
Hey-o. No pun
ups and downs.
The ins and outs of the porn. So Dan,
yeah,
tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Yeah, my podcast, Casting Views, it's just a general variety topic podcast. So each week I'll pick a subject that I think I'm going to have a bit of fun with, get a guest on. I know you've been on for a couple of episodes. And yeah, it can literally be anything or everything. I sometimes say I'll often have a number of ideas that hit me. Might be some bizarre laws, or like the one that I had you on, the last one was, I think, reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
But then I might be driving to work or something, hear some bizarre conversation, and that will get the brain going. And yeah, it's just try to have a bit of fun. Possibly might be a bit informative, but I never put myself out there that you're going to learn anything from me, but but hopefully, if you can have a laugh with me, if not at me, that's kind of the aim of it.
Yeah, I've told you before, you're like my Sunday morning listening. So whether I'm doing chores or just, playing on my iPad, I've always got Casting Views on when it comes out on Sunday mornings. And you've got some like side series too with the Black Mirror and stuff.
Yeah. So at the moment, we've got the Black Mirror, so where me and my friend Dan are reviewing episodes. But there's more than that, we're trying to sort of get under the skin of the episode and discuss like the themes of it and how it would relate to the modern day. I've got the new one. Actually, the last episode you're on was the dinner party one, which actually at time of recording, that's gone out today. And I have to say, still not reeling, that's the wrong word, but still sort of amazed at Jay's recipe. I still need that to happen. I need to manifest that. And yeah, I've
super easy, dude.
Yeah, I'll come over. That's what it'll be. And I've actually got one in the pipeline with Justin Henson, which I won't say anything at the moment because I'm not sure when we're going to do something. But yeah, I'm trying to, and yeah, the new year, I'm trying to look at sort of as you're doing with this to see if there's anything sort of slightly different I can do just to have a bit of fun myself with the format.
Yeah. Luckily your format it's pretty open. So you kind of, like you said, you have such a wide variety of topics, but it's good to kind of venture off into other things like we're trying to do now.
Yeah.
So keep the podcast alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to do some almost like reports from the field. I want to do like I've done that weird competition. So there's that cheese rolling competition that happens here. I actually want to go there and see it, maybe try interview one of the contestants maybe while they're being stretched away or something. So yeah, some out in the field episodes.
Yeah.
So you've got some fuck my whole life stories to share with us today. So we're excited to get into those.
Yeah, I've divided them up into subjects because they're all kind of roughly that they follow a theme. Now, I was saying to you beforehand, I know some people are probably listening to these, and when I talk, so part of it is some medical things. I know that the things I'm going to say aren't the worst things in the world, and there are people out there, obviously, who say, "Oh, if I only had that." But these are all things that have happened to you at one point, and it's just the moment it hits you, and you're just saying, "Oh, fuck this," not something else.
Yeah.
And some of them aren't necessarily bad. It's just when I say it, they're funny, and I'm laughing at myself because I'm thinking that's kind of the person I was, and trying to do something different, and I thought it was going to lead to something good, and then it's just a funny scenario happens. So like I said, at sort of worst case, you'll have a laugh at me. But some of them I'm hoping you might either agree or commiserate, but yeah, some fun nonetheless, I think.
Excellent. I think that's the whole point of the podcast in general, is to laugh at each other, laugh at ourselves, and commiserate. So sounds perfect.
I just laugh at other people.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't laugh at myself.
Oh dear. So yeah, I don't know. I thought I might start with some medical things, and the reason I'm saying that is so I've got a couple of things from years ago, but for me, the whole my medical life started when I turned 40 a fair few years back, and it was like there's that little tick box. Now, you two young whippersnappers, I know, you've got a long way till you get to that age, but
you're so funny.
It was honestly no, but it was honestly like once I hit that 40 mark, there was that there was like the warranty ended on my body, and everything.
Yeah,
I think within 6 months, I'd got a frozen shoulder, and I don't know if any of you had a frozen shoulder. But
what is a frozen shoulder?
Where you can't like lift it past a certain point.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Barely move it. So I think really boil it down. So for all you medical people out there, I apologize now, but yes, your shoulder is like in this capsule, and it's where that capsule scars. So instead of moving about freely, it's scarred, and you're rubbing it against the scarring, so you can't lift it, and it's really, really painful.
Ow.
I know all about that.
So yes, have you had one? Have you?
Never frozen shoulder, but I was in a motorcycle accident that tore my what is it, the
cuff?
labrum and the rotator cuff. Yeah,
Gosh.
and it was like I think like a 60% tear. and I also tore all the ligaments in my ankle, and the surgeon who did my ankle was going to be the surgeon who did my shoulder. And after he did my ankle, I was like, yeah, I'm not going back to the doctor. I'm just going to deal with it and let it heal. And
you have so many injuries that you just let heal. Like I can only imagine what your body looks like on the inside.
Like a fucking Viking.
But that's the thing. It's like they were saying to me this. I was looking it up, because obviously Google is the best doctor around.
Yeah,
and it was saying these can heal in 3 years without intervention. I'm like, I can't wait. I'd started a new job as well, so luckily I get medical care wherever I've worked. I've got sort of get medical cover, so had that looked after, and that involves 2 like saline and steroid injections right into the joint. And that's fine, except after the first one, I remember hearing like bubbling coming from the shoulder.
Oh God!
They said, "Don't worry, that's natural. That's natural."
Ooh.
Anyway, get over that, and then about 6 months after that, my opposite shoulder, I get a frozen shoulder in the opposite shoulder.
Oh my God! Now, is this just a genetic thing, or is it like an injury?
No, because I don't know anyone who's had that. And this is, I think you just reminded me of something really funny. I was saying to someone at work the other day, the list of injuries I could reel off to you, and the first thing you always get asked by the doctor or consultant, so you sporty? No, I'm one of the laziest buggers you're ever going to meet. So don't blame it on sport.
Yeah.
I was just about to ask you, do you play baseball? Did you play because that's typically baseball, football. That's where the shoulders get.
Do they play baseball in England? Cricket?
Not often. Cricket maybe, but
Rugby?
I haven't played sport. I haven't played sport for 20 years, so I'm not blaming sport.
Rugby.
Video game.
I used to play a lot of darts. Yeah, maybe video games. But the thing was, so I had that procedure on the other shoulder. Now that one, I went in all confident because I had 2 done on the left one. And the one on the right one was just one of the most painful experiences of my life, but you don't want to, because they were asking you, are you fine? I didn't want to say anything because I wanted them to do it because the fear of them halting the procedure. So anyway, get that done. But okay, frozen shoulder's bad. Second frozen shoulder was terrible. But the subsequent problem I've had from that is a couple of years ago went to have a condition in my eye investigated, and it turns out I've got a problem in my eyes which has come from the steroid injections I was having.
Oh shit.
It's not, I'm not saying, so anyone listening, if you have steroids, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get that, but I've had this weakness, which means the steroid has probably contributed to this problem with the eye. So now whenever I get anything else, I've always got to say, no, I don't want a steroid injection now because I had so much in a short amount of time that it's given me a problem in the eye.
Oh, geez. So like, what does it do to your eye?
No, well, the eye, I noticed it was, I was looking at, this is just the most boring thing how I found out, but I was looking at an Excel spreadsheet, right? And the lines were a little wavy.
Oh.
So I went and got that checked out, and they said, no, there's nothing happening. I can't remember. There's something called central serous retinopathy, I think. Anyway, what it is sometimes you can get little leaks in the eye between like the layers.
Ooh.
And people get those and they often heal up fine. But I've had one happen right where in one of my eyes, right where the light comes into the eye. Mm-hmm. And so there's scarring at the back there. So sometimes it might cause the lines to look a bit wavy. So yeah, now because of that, and yeah, it's just I'm thinking, and I was thinking, I get an injury and then even healing the injury has caused me to have something else.
Yeah.
And it's like that just summed it up at the time.
That's what I was going to say was, Booba.
Yeah.
Do you understand why I don't go to the doctor? Because I would never, like every time I go, they'd be like, did you know you had this? This should probably be checked out.
Here's a medication.
Did you know you had this? You should probably check that out too. And it would just be
a long list.
I will just go ahead and die young and, and happy.
Great.
Have fun. Yeah.
Yeah. What is it? Live fast, die young, or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, because then 6 months after I had the eye diagnosis, so this was about 18 months ago now, I then rupture a disc in my back.
Oh, God.
And of course, one of the first things the doctor wants to give you is steroid into it. And I'm like, yes. And then I'm thinking, no, I can't. So, and this is what I'm saying, you know, sort of 5 years from 40, I've had, 2 frozen shoulders and a ruptured disc. And the thing about the ruptured disc that annoyed me the most was to move to a new house, don't even have a garden, right? Don't even have a garden. We've got a tiny strip of land, of land. And the wife said, I want to dig that up and I want to put some flowers and just make it look nicer. And it was this soil was the hardest thing known to man. I think it would crush diamonds, right? So I remember getting like a pickaxe and it was fine, digging away. We were done. And I said to her, no, I want to do one more. There's one more bit I want to get. It was that final swing. I swung it. Felt something go right through my back, sat down. She's like, are you fine? I said, yeah, I'm fine. I said, no, something's wrong. I said, I think I need, and that was it. Then I was in agony. And then that's it, yeah. And sort of like 18 months later, I still, while it's healed up, I still do get, the odd issue with it.
Mm-hmm.
But
backs suck, man. Backs are the worst. Yeah, I mean, we're also both well into our 40s, and so we know quite well. I'm saving it for another episode, my whole back debacle that fits perfectly into the fuck my whole life scenario. So I'm saving that story for a future episode, but I feel you on the back stuff. But do you have universal health care there?
Yes, we've got the NHS, National Health Service, which is, I'm going to say, you'll hear it is maligned, and the reason it is maligned is because I think it's just so stretched. It's underfunded. So it's free treatment at the point of care. So you can walk into your A&E, accident and emergency, and they will treat you. There's no questions asked. There's no insurance. There's no payment. It's just there are so many people now with ailments, and the funding could probably be a lot better in the management of that funding. So we've got that, and for day-to-day stuff, that's absolutely fine. But like I said, for about the last 7-8 years, I've had healthcare at work, and it just makes sense. You're seeing the same consultants often. You're in the same hospital. It's just you'll be seen quicker. Especially since the pandemic, trying to get a GP appointment here can be a complete lottery.
Oh yeah, same here. Yeah. You're waiting months just to get just a regular checkup. It's crazy.
Like you make an appointment with your doctor, like my finger is like, it doesn't move. Like something happened to my finger and I can't move it. So the earliest we can get you in is 2.5 months from now.
So then you have to go to the either urgent care where you're going to sit all day and wait and pay more, or go to the emergency room where you may or may not sit and wait all day, but you're going to pay 4 times as much for that visit. So it's insane. Yeah,
it's nuts. That's why I don't fucking go.
No, and the thing about the whole A&E accident emergency here is, I mean, I had my gallbladder out in 2016, so 7 years ago, so well before the pandemic. And again, I remember calling up the stairs to my wife because my wife had gone to bed early because she was having a medical procedure of her own the next day.
Oh no!
And so I stick the Xbox on because she's gone to bed early. I'm sitting down. I get a bag of crisps, bag of chips, start eating them. I felt something wasn't right. I could feel this pain in my chest. Then it just came on all of a sudden. I thought I was having a heart attack. I know people say it, but I thought I was dying. So I crawled up the stairs on my hands and knees. I couldn't do anything more. And I wake her up. I said, something's wrong with me. Something's happening to me. I said, something's wrong with me. She woke up. She drove me to A&E, and I had a 12-hour wait before I got seen by anyone. So I was sitting, and she had to go home because she had to get ready for her own procedure.
Yeah.
They then do a scan, and they find out my gallbladder was full of gallstones, and that's what was causing the issues. But it was a 12-hour wait, and I'll never forget. I was so tired that my mum had swapped over because my wife had to go home, and they did an ultrasound, and I was so tired. I'd not slept. They'd given me whatever medication they'd given me to take the pain away, which was giving me a better head rush than beer or cider ever has. And my mum made a joke. She goes, "Oh, what have you found?" Because he goes, "Oh, well." And she goes, "What, is he pregnant?" And I looked up, I saw the ultrasound, and I thought for a split second, "What? They don't tell me they found it. Don't tell me I'm pregnant, because that is all I need." And
Dan,
that's
the
where the
medical
brain went.
anomaly.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah. But so we do have that, but yeah, where you can, it's I mean, even private healthcare now, sometimes you could be waiting a couple of weeks, few weeks, but you're still guaranteed to get seen quicker.
But you guys don't have to go through the whole, like, so if you went in with back pain, would it have to be like, well, we have to wait for this approval from this person and this approval, and then you have to do all this stuff before we can even do a test to get you to figure out what's wrong? Do you have to go through any of that stuff, or is it just kind of just waiting for someone to be available?
No, it's just waiting. That is a good thing here. If you go into any, they just need to wait for the right person. They'll triage you. They'll say, this is what we think it is. So they'll put you in, they'll if you need an X-ray, they'll get you sent to the radiology department. They'll wait to get a consultant speech, or they'll admit you to a ward. So the next day you're there for the consultants when they come on duty. So no, there's no sort of red tape or politics like that.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yeah. It's I mean, we could go into the whole sort of US versus UK
God. Yeah.
healthcare, but I know my wife did need to have. We were in Florida once, and she took a tumble quite bad, hit her head really hard, and we used our we have travel insurance, of course, do, and she was seen, triaged, treated briefly, and we were out within 3 hours, which I know paid for, so our holiday companies, our insurance companies paying for, but yeah, it's it seems to be when it works, it's a really slick system, but again,
it can be. We actually took a trip to the emergency room. When was it? It was a holiday weekend.
It's a couple months ago. Yeah,
it was like Labor Day or something. Yeah, it was Labor Day, and Jay was having some bad vertigo. Yeah. And after day 4, he was finally like, okay, maybe we should go.
Yeah.
And so we went to the emergency room, and like we had some friends, ironically, who had both gone to the emergency room that week and had waited 5-6 hours. We walked in, there was nobody there. They immediately checked him out.
Well, I think like I had Kay drop me off at the door and then go park. And when I walked in, it was 4 days of like when I tried to move, when I tried to stand up, it almost falling over, like the vertigo was so bad. And she dropped me off at the door of the ER. And when I walked in, they were like, "Are you okay? Do you need a wheelchair?" And I was like, "I don't know." Well, whatever you think I need, like, you're the fucking nurse. What do I know?
Yeah. I think it depends here. Most people, because you have to pay so much money for an emergency room visit, a lot of people try to avoid it unless it's absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
So, I mean, sometimes you get lucky. You go in and you don't have any wait at all. But yeah, there's definitely times.
Yeah.
Busier times when everyone's at the ER.
Yeah, that ER was relatively empty that day.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
No, and that's the other thing, right? So I'm absolutely aware that, especially here, you can go to the accident emergency, and obviously if a kid comes in, they're going to get priority because they're younger. If there's a serious incident, they'll take priority. I think if people are transferred from within the hospital, they get for. I get all that. I just don't seem to have the luck. And like I said, I'm not complaining because I know people do, but. When was it? A few months back, I had a bout of food poisoning. I didn't know that's what it was. I started throwing up blood, and
God!
went to the hospital. And again, it was another 12 hours before I got seen. And
I feel like throwing up blood's a pretty serious. Like you think that would get some high priority.
I don't know what the prioritization is in the UK, but in the US, if you go to the emergency room, it doesn't matter if like I've had diarrhea for 5 days. You tell them I've had diarrhea for 5 days and I fell and hit my head, because head injuries are front of the line.
Right. Yeah.
They're front of the line. You immediately go to the front because it's your brain.
Yeah.
And they're worried about it. So they will automatically just put you to the front.
Did you sprain your ankle? I sprained my ankle and hit my head.
Yeah. Yeah. And that is the thing. And people here now do kind of lie about certain things to try to be seen, especially one of the, without going into a whole side issue now, what we're saying about not being able to get a GP appointment, a lot of people now are going to the ER for minor ailments because they can't see a doctor.
Yeah.
And they're just filling it up. I just had a couple of things. I'm laughing, not at the last thing I said about the couple of things I'm looking at for me. So one is recent. I've always suffered with some gastro issues, and I've just been seeing a consultant again just for a second opinion on things. Now, the annoying thing is I got told a whole load of different things to what I got told 10 years ago. So I've been almost doing the wrong things, diet-wise and health-wise, according to this guy. But this sums up, when I'm talking about, I know it's petty, but this sums up when I say, like, fuck my medical life, is when a condition of yours is described in the most tedious or annoying way, that's when you start getting really frustrated. So apparently I have got a tortuous and redundant colon. So I've got a colon that's not only tortuous, it's redundant. So
well, there's our episode title right there.
Yeah. Tortuous and redundant colon.
It's a bottom line, pun not intended, but bottom line. So, like the classic picture of a colon, it goes up one side, across, under the ribs and then down. Mine is like a spaghetti junction, apparently. So that's the tortuous side. It goes up, down, in and out, all sorts of things. And the redundant is it's much longer than it needs to be. So, yeah, and I just, every now and then I come out and I'll say to my wife, I've got a redundant and tortuous colon. I mean, come on. When you got something, you don't want it to be as mundane and as boring as that, right?
I think it sounds pretty exciting.
You should name it.
The torturous bit.
Yeah.
Think of your childhood bully, and that's what you should name your colon.
I just thought, it's just when they're giving names for conditions, like I said, it's tortuous and redundant. So at the same time. So it feels like an oxymoron, doesn't it? It feels like they're at odds with each other.
Those two should cancel each other out. It's torturous but redundant.
Yeah, you were doing well, and then this bit's not needed. But and the only other thing I was going to say, this was years ago, right? So I was 20. So a long time ago. I also suffered with sinus issues. So again, you see, I've never had best of both worlds, either gastro or sort of ear, nose, and throat as well. And so whenever I was getting colds, I was always going deaf, because I think they call it glue ear in kids and that. And so they did an operation that, and again, this is my luck with timing, an operation that I've been told they stopped doing a few years after I had it because it's proven not to work, but also mess things up, which I'll go on to. But
great.
When I saw a consultant a couple of years ago, he goes, basically it was like taking a sledgehammer to a peanut, not even a walnut. It was like they kind of like took a bit of cartilage out the nose. They put grommet in each ear. They cauterized the nasal passages to try and make everything wider. But the sum effect of that was, one, it didn't work, but two, it made me lose around sort of like 80% of my sense of smell.
Oh, jeez.
And cause some other issues like a hole in the septum. But the thing I'm laughing about that is I'll never forget the first night I have it done. So you wake up and you've got these metal rods stuck up your nose, each nostril, with this string tied up your head, right?
God.
And you so I sat down, and the guy in the bed next to me was a young guy as well. He puts the TV on and starts in the TV room, like, and starts watching, I think it was Silence of the Lambs. And I thought, I'm not watching this after I've had surgery. Stood up too quickly, and then like blood was coming out my ears and out.
No.
Jesus shit.
No.
Dan,
Sorry to laugh.
just stop going to the doctor. Just like,
Take
maybe
Jay's
it's not meant to
philosophy on
be.
But the funny thing, even funnier thing is, so the blood obviously caused it to all crust on the nose. And being I wasn't even a vain teenager at the time, but being a vain youngster, I cut the string that was on the rope a little, on these rods up the nose a little bit, just to not look so stupid. I didn't realise that they used those to pull them out, right?
Oh, God.
Of your nose, so they couldn't do that. So they needed to get like forceps and like try to pull these things out my nose.
Fuck your whole life.
Yeah. Oh
So
God.
this is just touching on the medical thing. You could probably do a series on Dan's medical stories.
We'll just have you back every once in a while to share more medical
Okay, now let's go
stories.
over your mouth this week. What happened in your mouth?
well, actually, right, if we're on that, so I used to have hearing tests and stuff. I used to have a regular checkup then afterwards, right? And I'm going in to see this consultant, and he's looking at his notes, and he goes to me, he's not someone I've seen before. He goes, "You had your adenoids out this year, didn't you?" I said, "No." He goes, and he looked at me, gave me a dirty look. He said, "Yes, you did." I said, "No, I didn't." He goes, "You had your adenoids out," and then I was starting to lose my patience. But I said, "Look, if you come into my house when I've been asleep and did it without me knowing, then I'll say yes." But I said, "I haven't." And he was just about to lose it when he looked at the folder, looked at the front of the folder. His face went white, went out, came back, and they'd put my notes
Oh,
into somebody
God.
else's, or somebody else's notes into my folder.
Oh
And
my
so was
God.
arguing.
Oopsie.
And then the reason that it's linked to what you're saying about what happened to the mouth was then I had to have I got, without no jokes, but I have a terrible gag reflex, and so he had to check my throat, and he's sticking that wooden stick there, and I was gagging. So he tries to spray a like an anaesthetic, like
Yeah.
A numbing.
a numbing
Yeah.
spray. He's pointing it the wrong way, isn't it? So he sprayed it everywhere but the back of my throat. So,
Oi.
so my whole mouth has fallen asleep, right? And so when I'm then calling whoever it was to come pick me up, I'm like, my tongue just felt like, yeah.
Oh my
And so not
God.
only did I have somebody else's notes in my folder, I then couldn't speak about now, which most people probably were happy about. But
I feel like this doctor maybe isn't in the right profession.
tell me about it. Tell me. But yeah, that's it for medical stuff. I'll leave it there. Next episode I'm on, I can do a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, but what about like your big toes? Let's talk about your big toes.
Big toe's fine. However, I did back in February. I did fracture my ankle just by going for a walk.
Oh my
I
God.
twisted my ankle, and this was a couple of weeks before I was going to Vegas. And there was, as you both know, but Kay, you know as well,
Mhm.
there was a big reason for me going to Vegas, wasn't there? It was to go get married. And the week before, literally, I twist my ankle, and all I had in my head was my wife saying, "Don't do anything stupid. Don't injure yourself before we go away." And my ankle, they just puffed up to the size of a good and right. Now, it kind of was fine. Ironically, the next day I had to go to London. We were walking around all day. I rested it for the week, went on holiday. A few months later, it was still really painful and swelling up. And apparently I chipped a bit of the bone.
Oh.
I twisted my ankle so badly because I went right over on it, like the knuckle hit the ground, and I pulled the ligament so hard that it pulled a bit of bone away from
Jeez.
a bit of bone. Now it's not as I've not broken the ankle or something. I can't remember what they call it, but yeah, there you go. That's the foot injury.
Were you like super power walking or something?
No, I think I tripped. I think I stood on a twig or something.
Oh God. Damn twig.
That's about as sporty as I get. Is a long walk at work at lunch.
So I want to ask you a question. Have you ever seen the movie Bubble Boy?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
I think it's like or The Boy Who Lived in a Bubble.
The Boy in a Bubble. Wasn't it John Travolta?
It was John Travolta. And like the early 80s, may have even been the 70s when it came out. But it was basically like just this kid who, I think he had an autoimmune disease.
Yeah, he was like allergic to the world.
But god damn.
He had to live in a bubble.
Like,
you just need bubble wrap around.
So clumsy. I am so clumsy.
Christmas is coming up. If there's a big box on your doorstep and it's like a bubble, it's from us.
Do you know what? Once, this has just reminded me as well. This was years ago at work. I was carrying a printer from one place to another, and I didn't want to take the lift. It was going to take too long, so I went up the stairs, forgetting at the end of the stairs there's a doorway, a door. The logical thing to have done would have been to put the printer down to open the door, right? But no, of course not. So I'm trying to open the door at the same time. go to drop the printer, think I can't drop the printer. So I tried to save that and end up falling with my back against the corner of a wall.
Oh,
And then hurting it then.
God.
So,
Ugh. Stairs scare
Yeah.
the shit out of me. Every time I go up and down stairs, especially if I'm carrying something, I just imagine myself falling to my death every time. I don't know why.
I'm just so clumsy. I am so clumsy. It's unreal. And that's the thing, you know, I'm not sporty. Oh God, no, do you know what? We'll maybe save that for another time, but no, shall I tell you? I gave it to, you know, Joey and Tim from Two Blokes from Blighty, the Game Club pod. This aired on their pod. So I was, when I moved house a number of years ago, the area I'm in, there was a local football team just 5-minute walk from my house, and I wanted to go see them. So it was really good to get out the house and see it, support a local side. There was the bit we'd stand at. It's a tiny ground, you know. It's not professional, so it's tiny. There was a few steps, concrete steps, and we would stand at the top. Now, one game, there was either something particularly good or something particularly bad had happened. I thought I was on the bottom step to go to run forward. I was actually 2 or 3 steps up.
Oh, no.
To fall completely over.
Oh, no.
Right. The biggest noise you're going to see, right? There's a few blokes next to me. They all come over. And obviously, again, being with blokes, I'm trying to laugh it off, style it off. No, I'm fine. But I knew something was wrong. I was in my shin, my right shin was in so much pain, right? But I said, no, it's fine, laugh it off. So it was the next half. So you're looking at 45, 50 minutes before I then start walking home. And again, I thought there's something wrong because my jeans weren't, like on my right leg, weren't moving. Basically, I'd get into the house. I'd fallen. I don't know how I'd done it with my shin on the edge of one of the steps, gouged it quite badly. It had bled a lot. My jeans got stuck in the blood in the wound. So I had to kind of like pull the jeans off of the wound.
Oh, no.
And I had a scar there. I've still got a bit of a scar, but yeah, it took about 6 or 7 months to heal properly.
Oh,
and it's
my God.
Damn.
Dan.
Yeah, I'm just so clumsy. It's just unreal. But the worst thing was, like I said, it was about trying not to lose face. It was trying not to be humiliated, which I didn't do a good job because it was winter and I had this big puffer coat on. I was just like this big blue blob falling down up the steps.
Just a flesh wound. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, shit.
Bubble. We're getting you a bubble.
Yeah. So I think we should move on now. I'm going on to holidays next. There is actually a health one in the holiday, but it's more holiday related, so I left it there. But the one I have to say in holidays is, and I don't often tell people, but it's one of those things I don't like saying, oh, I've been here, I've been there, or I've done this. But it was one time we went to Peru and we were kind of held captive by a village in the mountains. Kind of.
Okay, that seems like a pretty big story.
Continue.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, I can't remember when it was. I think it was about something like 2012, I think. So about 10 or so years ago, we were in Peru. We were trying to get from one place to another. I can't remember where. I think it might have been like, it's always good for a name, but Lake Titicaca to Machu Picchu, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it should have been, I can't remember, and this is where if I've got that wrong, but it was going to be like a 4-hour bus trip, coach trip from point A to point B. The time of year we went, South America can be volatile.
Mm-hmm.
There were some issues in Peru. I think there was something going on with the police, government, and the rainforest. So the locals were, like the workers were up in arms with the police, etc. So that day we were doing that, they were blocking the highway as a strike and a protest, 24 hours. So we couldn't do that. So the flight, it would have been like a half-hour flight. It jumped from like $40 to $300 per person. So our holiday company didn't want to do that. So they took, and people obviously can't see this, but I'm doing the quotes, another route. We were going to take a scenic route there, right? And what that scenic route ended up being was a like gravel road through the mountains. When I mean mountains, we were going above the clouds, sheer drops, right? So if you had any fear of heights, it was proper curves. And to the point where at one point I sort of asked our guide, we were put on with like 50 other tourists because we weren't the only ones affected by this. I said, what if a vehicle comes the other way? Because we were a huge coach going on this road. And like the bus driver laughed at me and he goes, no, there won't be a vehicle come because they know it's one way. What happens an hour later? Like a Jeep comes the other way to us.
Oh my God.
And we had to make this guy, because we're a coach, this guy had to reverse for about half an hour around these twisty, turny roads till he could get to a bit, because we weren't going to do that. And then there was another bit where we had to turn a sharp corner and we couldn't because we're a coach, and there was a rock in the apex of the corner. So they asked everyone to get off. They put rocks behind the wheels of the coach to stop it rolling backwards, because at this point, so imagine we're going around a curve, the bus is at like a 90-degree angle to the corner. So they put rocks behind the wheels, stop it, and they got a pickaxe out of the bus to start hitting at the rock in the apex to kind of destroy it. So it gave us a bit of wiggle room around it. Anyway, we do that. This isn't the best bit of it yet, or where it gets.
This is already giving me so much anxiety just thinking about this.
No, so we get to one village, right, where there's some rocks in the road. So the bus driver stops the bus, gets out, starts taking the rocks out. As he does this old woman comes out from nowhere, starts pelting the coach with rocks and stones, and the bus driver with rocks and stones, right? Anyway, he quickly gets in the bus. We move on to the next village. And there's like this huge telegraph pole across the road stopping our progress. So he gets out, and basically what he's saying is they knew people would be coming through the mountains to try avoid that. So to stand in solidarity with their brothers and sisters in the city, they were going to cause a strike up in the mountains as well. So they were trying to block traffic. So anyway, we get through that because the bus driver contributed money to this guy in the village. I'll say that. But he also asked to do other things. So basically he had to paint on the windows of the bus and on the side of the bus, I mean, I don't want to say it, but some unpleasantries to the country's president to mark us as having been sided with this village.
Okay.
So at this point we've got some crap windows, we've got abuse painted on the side of the coach.
Jesus.
We hit a couple more of these villages along the way. But then we get to the village that was taking it serious. We come up and there's a 6-foot wall of earth blocking, so we can get through, right? Driver gets out, guide gets out, starts saying, look, do you want some money? And the guy said, we're self-sufficient. We don't need your money. It's almost like, how rude of you. He says, we're supporting our fellows down in our fellow country people down in the city. He says, you can go through when the strike ends at midnight, which was approximately 6 hours from the time we got there. So bear in mind, it's probably already been like 10 hours or so we've been on the road. So there's 50 odd people on there. Guide was pleading a lot more. We've got like 50, and there was another bus behind us. We've got like up to 100 tourists. Please let them through. They're worried, this and that. Not budging, right? One woman on the coach, I'll never forget, she was Dutch. She was from a different group, wanted to call the police. And this was when our guide turned from being like quite stoic to on his knees begging her not to, because he said, one, the police wouldn't come up there anyway. Two, these people's arguments were with the police. So if the police did turn up, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
Because there'd been some violence a week before. And he said, these people here could be armed. We don't know. These are rural, remote villages. So she agrees. Guide tries again to negotiate. And what this mayor of this village said was that if we all the tourists that got off the bus, marched around the square chanting anti-government slogans in Spanish, which they would teach us, they would allow us to move on. So
Oh my God.
at this point, we are disembarked from the bus. And this was then when we were probably starting, or I was then starting to feel a little anxious, because we're then split off from our support network, which is our guides and
Yeah.
the bus, right? The bus, because they didn't want to take the wall of earth down, they're moving it round the village. We didn't then see the bus. Bring us into the town square. They make us march around. They're filming us with their phones. They're saying, say this, repeat this, repeat this. So we're doing that while they're filming us. Then they say, right, go stand over there. 90 minutes went by. We didn't see the bus. We didn't see the guy. We're thinking, what's happened here, right? And this is where, and it was funny, my wife at the time, she smoked. She was the only one in the group that did. At the end of that, there were so many people coming up to her to ask her for a cigarette. Because
Yeah.
but yeah, so anyway, so like I said, 90 minutes have gone by. Oh, and in between all that, there's this guy on like a flatbed truck or something, tried to ram the wall of earth down to get by, but all he did was end up getting stuck on the wall of earth and infuriating the villagers even more, which stressed us out a bit more. Anyway, another half hour goes, the bus arrives, but because it was forced to go through the long way round of through fields, it had ripped its front bumper off. It was just wrecked. So now you've got cracked windows, paint across it. The front bumper's literally ripped off. The back one's not faring much better. And they said, right, you can go. You've done what we've asked. But the mayor said, I have to come with you because the next village were more hardcore and wouldn't let you through without him vouching for it.
Jesus.
It comes on. Yeah. We get to the final one, right? So bear in mind now, it's cold, it's dark. We've not eaten. Because we didn't have any lunch with us. We didn't expect it to be this long.
Yeah.
We'd had one toilet break. At this village, they had their senior people sitting outside as guards. They were drunk. And our driver gets on and said, we're not even going to negotiate with them. He goes, they're drunk. They're serious. He goes, we've just got to sit it out now. So you've got 50 people on a coach. At this point, I was starting to lose it because you're just breathing the same air. I just wanted to get out. I remember saying at 1.5, I just want to get out. I want to get out, but they wouldn't let us out. So anyway, the strike comes to an end. 12 o'clock, they let us on. It still continues, right? Half an hour later, there was this bridge we've got across, right? Obviously a bridge, point A to point B over water. It got burnt out in the protest. They set fire to it. So it was a wooden bridge with metal girders going across it. And we had to get there. There was a vehicle waiting for us. So what we had to do was, in the pitch black, we could hear this river running under us. Now, I'm not going to say you couldn't tell how high it was. It sounded high. It sounded really fast under us. But we had to carry our luggage on us while walking across these girders with only the headlight from the bus on the other side.
Jesus.
We had to do that. And one guy in our group, he fell into a bridge when he was a kid and he got halfway and he just had a panic attack. And we were then just saying, look, chuck us your bags. And people, you just saw these cases being flung across.
Oh my God, I'm going to cry hearing this story.
Oh, no. Anyway, we get over there, another hour or so drive. We basically got to our hotel at 4 a.m. We had to leave at 6 a.m. the next morning to the next place. And yeah, it was, I mean, it's a story now. I'm going to say there was a little bit where I was obviously concerned, but yeah, the main thing is if you're going to a place when there's some unrest going on, yeah, make sure you've got options.
Yeah, that sounds like a movie. Like that is insane.
Because we were just saying we couldn't have come the week before, could we? Or we couldn't have come a week later.
Holy shit. I also I have a story that I'm going to share on a future episode too about when I was traveling in Hong Kong and there was unrest there, but it's nothing compared to that story. Holy shit.
Look, I don't think we were, I'm not going to say we were in danger. It wasn't nice. It wasn't pleasant. It was the remoteness of the location, being split up from people that were there to help you, and just not knowing them. Because like we said, when we got to the last one and even that mayor of that previous one said, yeah, no, we're not going to talk to these people, then you're thinking, right, well, it just takes, like that woman on the bus who wanted to call the police, it just takes somebody doing something silly.
Maybe you weren't in immediate danger, but
you never know.
You never know. All it takes is one small thing happening and then you are. And you're in Peru, which is like, it's not, what's the word? Industrialized as other parts of the world. You're in an area where there's probably no internet. There's probably
no cell phone service. Yeah. I was just going to say, I've seen videos of those roads, those mountain roads in Peru. And just that alone, I would have just died. Just kill me. There's no way.
That's the thing. It started off as a fun little trip, and it's like, oh look, we're above the clouds now, and this and that. But then, it's just so long. And I remember for the couple of days after, I was calling home just to not saying anything because obviously they'd worry, but also just see had footage hit the news or something because I then didn't want to be seen as if we were doing these protests.
Right. Hey, that's Dan. What's he doing? Yeah, because who knows what having that footage of you too, like that's crazy.
I remember
That's
just
so
keeping the head
crazy.
down, trying not to say
Yeah.
anything. So, like, if they did get me, well, I didn't actually say anything. I just had my head down and was just walking. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's terrifying. Great story now, but oh my
Yeah.
god, that would be so scary. How did your wife handle it? Was she freaking out or was she like, okay?
I think she was the same as me. I think she was okay. It was just a couple of bits. It was that bit when we got split from the bus. I think that
Yeah.
was a bit, because then why was the bus not coming back? It'd been almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
Where was this bus? And then, like I said, I think the bit she got worried about when I was just kind of going delirious. I wanted to get off that bus, but just for some fresh air. I just needed some air. And she was saying, you can't. And I think she was just getting worried that I might then want to try to get off the bus.
Yeah. Like that
yeah.
scene in Airplane where everyone just lines up to smack some sense into you. I gotta get out of here.
Common sense prevailed. But...
Oh my god, that was a wild ride.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more, but I don't want to keep you here all night.
We're okay. Just wait 1 minute.
Okay.
I need a fucking beer.
Yeah. After that, that's like a great dinner party story. You know, everyone entertained.
I've got another one in South America. This one is more of a funny one, because at first you think, what's the fuck my life bit about it? But it's the aftermath of it. So this time we were in Brazil, and we were going for a walk through the rainforest. Now, while I said to you, I'm not sporty, me and my wife, we do love to walk. We'll hike, we'll walk for hours. We love exploring. There'd been a storm a couple of nights before, so they said our normal path is blocked off. So we can do a shorter route that's there, or a longer route, but we'll have to cut our way through a little bit. So our hands were straight away up for the longer route, and thankfully other people in our group did. Anyway, we are walking down. Actually, I can't remember it. I think it was Brazil. Anyway, wherever we were, walking down a root system, right? And they've given us some sticks. They found some like tree branches and given us sticks for balance as we're going down. We're walking down this root system, and the wife's behind me. We're single file, and I watch her. She's put her stick down on the step that I'm on. And when I say step, we're talking about mud, right? It's soil and dry stuff. Her stick goes right through the ground. So I said to her, look, just be careful. Your stick's gone through the ground. As you're walking through, it might be loose. I then step forward, and then I just hear a panic voice from her going, snake, snake. I was thinking, right, there's a snake after her. So what I did was I leapt forward a step to then turn round to be able to give her space to say, come here. I then said, what's the matter with you? What's the matter? She goes, no, it's there. It's gone. What had happened was, where she'd put the stick, there was a snake sleeping underneath it.
Oh God.
She'd obviously pissed it off by putting this stick through it. It comes up. It's actually lurching for the back of my leg, right? She's then put the stick in front of it. It's wrapped itself around it, and then she's kind of chucked the stick into the side with this snake on. So I keep joking that she said, I saved your life. And I said, yeah, but you almost got me killed at the start as well. But and this is what I'm saying, the fuck my life bit of it was, so it was a great escape, because when I then I saw what the snake looked like, and I spoke to the guy, and it was an extremely venomous one. I think it might have been a coral snake. Anyway, the thing was, everyone then in the back of the group, they were like saying, oh, you saw a snake and you didn't tell us. That's really selfish of you. And I'm like, they heard her say snake. They thought she was pointing a snake out, not the fact that one was going for me. And then for about half an hour, everyone was having a go at me. I said, did you not know that it was actually trying to bite me? It wasn't, we're not pointing it out.
Right.
Yeah, everyone's having a go at me. So yeah.
How about you go fuck yourself?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fast thinking on your wife. As soon as I saw a snake, I'd be running. I'd be pushing everyone out of the way and be like, sorry, Dan, you're on your own. I'm out of here.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what, because when I say this story to people and they hear I jump forward, they think I was trying to run away from her. And I'm like, no, I was trying to give her some space. But no, she did the right thing there.
Oh God. I hate snakes.
I'm not going to say I'm not too bad with them unless they're trying to kill me.
Yeah. Lucky you didn't know at the time it was trying to kill you, so that's probably a bonus.
Yeah, but it's funny because she said we had these wellies on as we were walking, boots. She
Mhm.
said it was actually going for the calf just above it. She was almost like saying it knew where to go. She was saying it was like, yeah.
They're smart little evil creatures.
No, thank you.
Evil.
The good thing if it was a coral snake, was it like red, black, and white?
Yeah, and I think
with some orange in it.
I think so. Yeah.
We had those in Louisiana, and they don't have fangs like a rattlesnake or a cottonmouth or anything. They don't have fangs. They have little like saw teeth, so they have to gnaw at you a little bit before they can inject their venom.
Okay.
At least the coral snakes, if it was a coral snake, the coral snakes we had in Louisiana, they had to go at you for, and not long, probably only 10 seconds that, that they latch onto you, but still it's more than just a snap
quick,
But you've heard my medical stories. It's probably going to take a huge chunk out of me.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't end up with like some sort of snake venom in you.
Yeah, considering on some of the things we've done, I've managed. Yeah, I don't know how I've got through it. Yeah. It's just UK Dan is clumsy Dan, I think. Yeah.
Rainforest Dan is superhero Dan.
Yeah. And what else? I'll just finish because I do see there's time. I've got a couple which I call driving. Now I'm going to go back many years when I first started dating my wife. And again, you're just saying, "Oh, let's go away," and you want to present the best of yourself, don't you? So we go to this place where she wanted to go to. It's called Cheddar Gorge. It's about 4-hour drive away. It's a beautiful part of the country. It's just really picturesque, really scenic. We have a wonderful day. Get on the drive home. Get on the motorway. Tire blows. Right. I was thinking, one, I've never changed at that point because I was fairly young. I'd never changed a tire in my life, and I was thinking, right, don't panic because you don't want to look like, one, you don't know what you're doing. I think we'd only been dating a couple of months, and two, I was thinking, I'm going to have to at least attempt to change this tire because I can't look like I don't know what I'm doing wrong. So anyway, well, the good news was I got it changed. So, I was thinking for you, I've won the marks on the good points on that bit. So I've changed the tire over. But we have, again, in the UK, the cars were like the boots, the trunks were smaller. So we'd have what we would call a space saver spare wheel. So it's slightly smaller. And you're only supposed to drive X amount miles an hour, which is often really slow. So didn't want to drive faster than that in case then that one blew because I didn't have it. So again, like a 4-hour journey home took about 7.5 hours because we were going so slow. And at one point, this police car drives past me, sort of parallel with me, and goes, "Are you all right because you're slow?" And I said, "Yeah." And I pointed to the wheel at the back space saver and he gave me the thumbs up and drove off. And I'm like, yeah, she's never going to want to see me again, right? But no, 22 years later, we're still here. So it didn't put her off that much. But again, it was just that culmination of never had a blown tyre, never had to change a tyre, then taking 8 hours back, and it's like, smooth date, Dan, smooth date.
Hey, you changed the tire, man. That's major points right there.
Yeah. But then, and my clumsiness does come across. So there's so many things I could say. But again, I'll never forget, she would want to, if anything goes wrong, replacement, she'd want to go get it done, fixed herself. And I said, no, I want to start doing it. So I replaced some bulbs as I went, but had to replace the windscreen wipers, right? And I said, look, this isn't a difficult thing. And they're not. Except the first time I did it, right, I'm pulling the blades up, I pull it off, and the stem or the stalk of the windscreen wiper, I turn around, accidentally knock it, not realising there's like a metal ball bearing on it, smashed the windscreen, didn't I?
Oh, no.
Yeah, I've seen that before.
Oh, no.
I've never done it. I've never done it since, Jay.
Yeah. No, I when I used to be a mechanic in Las Vegas, I've seen, we had the mechanics, and then we had we called them the tire busters, the guys who just changed tires and changed oil, and maybe brake lights, the bulb and the brake light and windshield wipers. And this kid was changing the windshield wiper, and he took the old windshield wipers off, and because he didn't want the thing to snap down and smack the windshield, he put it down, but he didn't put it down. He pushed it down.
Oh.
So it just snapped down and smacked the windshield and busted this guy's windshield. And everyone was like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? Like his explanation of why he did it was so backwards. I didn't want it to fall down and break the windshield. So you pushed it down to break the windshield.
Oh, I was fuming. Because again, I just turned around and just knocked it. And I'm like, yeah, if I'd have actually thought that that's what I wanted to do, I'd have almost been all right with myself. I'm not saying the end result would have been any better, but no, it's just nothing more than, me just being a clumsy idiot. Yeah, a clumsy oaf.
Aww.
Yeah. But I'll finish with one more.
Okay.
I'm going to leave. I was saying to Kay earlier, my younger days one I'll leave alone because they were so long ago anyway. I'll have to remember them more. I'll have to get the old encyclopedias out to remember what they were like. But it involves driving and health actually, so it's a good mix there. So come back from another holiday, parked our car at the airport, had to drive home. It was Heathrow Airport, so it's only about an hour. It's an easy drive. But on the plane on the way over, coming back, I didn't feel good at all. And I never use the toilets on plane for anything other than a number one, usually, let's say that. But I was so bad, I had to, and I had to use it a couple of times. And I said to her, something's not right. Anyway, land, get through the airport, get in the car, start driving. And I'm in just so much pain, right? I'm cramping so much. And so much so, right, that took the wrong turn out the airport and ended up pretty much heading in towards central London, which you don't want to do. I'm kind of the opposite way. So I'm having to deal with all that. Had to stop find places to stop about 4 times on the way. Turned out I had to then see a doctor. Turned out I'd got salmonella poisoning on the last day of the holiday, and I was basically driving through, and it was just it was getting that wrong turn in driving into central London, trying to say no, it's just a stomach ache. Why is this so bad? And then getting like an hour and a half journey home whilst trying to look at where's the next service station. Where's the next stop?
Man, your holiday luck is also not great.
I know you want me to make you those smoked shotgun shells, but I'm kind of nervous about you taking a holiday out here.
Just don't let me drive anywhere when I'm over there. No, do you know what? I've actually never driven abroad. I never want to. I'm asking for trouble, I think.
Yeah, well, because you guys are on the opposite side, right? I couldn't even begin to imagine how.
Yeah, they're on the wrong side. They drive on the wrong side of the road.
Oh, okay.
We'll argue that another episode. We'll argue that another episode.
He loves causing trouble.
Well, I never forget. Yeah, in America, we would get a taxi once somewhere, and the taxi driver said, "There's this junction." He goes, "The amount of accidents I have," he said, because he said, especially Brits just forget how to do the junctions. It's the opposite way, and he says the amount of accidents they have. And I'm like, for the sake of $20, $30 a taxi ride,
Yeah. Well, you get driving is such second nature. I don't know if my brain would just be able to switch and do the opposite.
You know what? This has to do with driving, but both of you have probably had this happen before. Have you ever driven somewhere and when you get there, you don't even remember the drive?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You're like, holy shit.
Yeah. How did I get here?
Yeah. And then you're like, how many red lights did I run?
Yeah.
Was I where was I when I was driving? Because I don't remember any of the drive. That shit happens to me all the time.
Yeah. Because like I said, you're just on autopilot. You're probably doing all the right things, but you just don't actively think about it. So when you get to where you're going, you're just like, what did I just do?
Yeah, what the fuck just happened?
Yeah.
It's like waking up from surgery when they put you under.
Yeah.
They put you under for surgery, and then the next thing you remember is you wake up. But 8 hours have gone by.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always embarrass myself when I wake up from surgery. I just start giggling and laughing and just saying silly stuff. Yeah, and it makes the nurse start laughing, which then makes me laugh more. And yeah, I just embarrass myself. Yeah.
It's so fun though.
Yeah. I've had the nurses, the few times I've had surgery, I've had the nurses and like the recovery room, they wheel you out and wait for you to wake up in the recovery room. I've both times, like my surgery on my elbow and the surgery on my ankle, both times I've woken up and the nurse has to like come over and be like, you need to be quiet. There's other people recovering. Because I'm just like, oh, shit.
I've yet to witness
They
that
must
with
love
you. Yeah. Oh, they probably
They
hear
must
some of the
love it.
craziest stuff.
Oh, yeah. I don't know what I'm saying, but I do remember. I do remember the nurse both times. Well, the first time with my ankle surgery, one of my buddies came to pick me up, and he was at the nurse's station, and he was like, "I'm here to pick up," and I was like, "Rob, I'm over here, dude. Come over here, man." And the nurse was like, "Sir, you need to settle down. There's other people," because it's just like a row of beds of people who have come out of surgery.
Yeah, everyone's in that daze. I'll have to beep out your name.
Oh,
Yeah,
shit.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, that's in my whole name
You
too.
said your
Huh?
whole name.
Yeah. I clocked the time. I was going to give it to you, don't I? I don't forget. I was once having this scan where they had to put this dye, this contrast through you, and I can't remember if it's supposed to be radioactive or whatever, but they need to give it 15 minutes to work through the system. So while I was doing that, I was reading this poster on the wall because you're lying down, and it says, some people, X% of people suffer an adverse reaction from this. If you get this, this, or this, let us know. That's fine. This nurse comes running over to me at some point and she goes, "Are you the patient that's had the adverse reaction to this?" I said, "I don't know. You tell me, right?" Like I did this other voice shouting out, "No, it's not him. It's the next one over." I'm like, phew, sorry, mate, whoever's next door. But it's like, I don't know. You tell me.
Was that for your shoulder?
No, I can't remember what this was for. This was one of the other many things. But
for the redundant colon.
Yeah.
What was it? Not hostile. What is it?
Tortuous and redundant. Yeah. Yeah.
Torturous and redundant. Yeah, I would be the one laying there reading all of the things that you could experience, and then immediately being like, maybe I'm feeling that. I could possibly be feeling that.
I mean, I'm about to feel it.
I think I'm feeling that, even if I'm not.
Yeah.
I just read it, so I know I'm about to feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I just have a habit of laughing at the most inappropriate times as well. And I never forget, I was having a blood test and they asked me, would I mind if it was a junior doing it? And I said, no, of course not. It's just taking blood and everyone's got to learn. Anyway, he starts taking it, and me and the guy who was shadowing him, or he was shadowing, we start joking. I start laughing, and then I start laughing. He starts laughing. I'm trying to keep my arms still so this poor guy can take my blood properly because he was looking nervous as anything, and we're just sort of having a laugh at his expense. And not being mean, but we were just laughing. And the more I laughed, he laughed. The more he laughed, I laughed. I'm like, just keep my damn arm straight.
Don't miss the vein. Well, thank you.
Yeah, I think I've embarrassed myself there, so enough.
Those were some great stories.
They were.
To kick off Fuck My Whole Life.
I mean,
they're amazing.
This should drum up quite a few stories.
Yeah. People will hear these and be like, oh, I got one for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we definitely love to have you come back, too, because it sounds like you got more.
Yeah.
There'll be more. Yeah.
Let's talk about your hip.
Yeah.
Progressively go through all of the ailments.
No, I'm fine with it. Well, I'll save that for part 6.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm excited we've got you on. Before we sign off, tell everybody where they can find your podcasts.
Well, firstly, thank the two of you. I think you're both great, and it's really good to come back on. So thank you for having me on. For me, just look for Casting Views on all social media. I think I'm pretty much on all of them. Drop me a note at castingviewspod@gmail.com if you want to be on the show. Have a listen to J&K's dinner party one if you fancy being on, doing something similar. Let me know, because I want to do one of those every month. So always looking to have new people on the show.
go check out Dan. Go listen. We've been on, God, I think 3 times.
I think so.
We did
3 or
the
4 times, I think, yeah.
weird work, the reincarnation,
That's it.
and the dinner party one.
Yeah.
So go listen to those. Go listen to all of his episodes. Got a lot of interesting topics.
Ghost.
Kat is taking over the podcast.
Yeah, come on.
So thank you again
Yeah.
for joining us. We really appreciate it. Everybody send in your stories, whether they're work related or just fuck your whole life related. We want to hear them.
Absolutely.
And bye, fuckers.
Bye, fuckers.
Thank you for listening to the Fuck My Whole Life podcast. If you have a story to share, send it our way to fmwlpod@gmail.com or leave a voicemail at 310-818-3273. For more fun content, check out our socials at fmwlpod and join our Discord community to chat with us and your fellow fuckers. All links can be found in the show notes. Until next time, bye fuckers. That's my New Year's resolution. Everything is fine. It's all good enough.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.